Okay, let's tackle an example problem that demonstrates the benefit of cartel formed by oligopolies. So the example is, two local ready-mix cement manufacturers here and there have combined demand given by Q equal 105 minus P. P is the price, Q is the quantity of output, but it's not just quantity of output, that's the sum of the quantity of output from both manufacturers. Their total costs here and there are given by total cost TC by company here equals 5Q here plus 0.5 Q square here. And the company there has same total cost function as you see on the equation. Suppose they successfully colluded, which means behave like monopolies. What will their total output that maximize profit be? So again, the question didn't mention about what kind of total output, but basically we are assuming profit maximizing firms, so their total output decision will be based on profit maximizing for both firms together. Okay, how do we calculate the total output when these two firms here and there collude to act like monopolies and maximize their total profit? So here, market demand function is given, and here Q is the total output. So basically Q is the sum of output from each company here and there, right? So you should know what to do about Q, and P is the market price per unit for two companies that present or produce same cement or very similar cement. And then total cost function for each company are given, and you can derive marginal cost for each one, which happen to be the same. MCT. So if you apply delta operation or derivative, the first one give you 5, and second term give you 0.5 multiplied 2, so you have 1, right? And you have QH, 2 minus 1 give you 1, so 5 plus QH, that will be the marginal cost of company here, and company there has same marginal cost. So what's happening is the two companies have the same production function or production cost, right? So you can actually think that these companies are identical. And you can expect QH and QT will be equal too. So here, how you find profit maximizing total output? So first, as these companies behave as monopolies, they would do marginal revenue equal marginal cost, right? So marginal revenue, as there's only one demand function, you can find it easily. First, we know that you have to write it as inverse demand functional form, right? Then marginal revenue will be same vertical intercept of inverse demand function and twice as steep as inverse demand function. So that is marginal revenue for these two companies combined as one, acting like monopolies. Then, as these two companies agree to act like one company monopolies, but then there are two total production process. So you can think the situation as there's only one monopolist, one decision maker, but then it has two different factories. So when you have two different factories, what happens is, if one factory is more cost efficient, which means it costs less amount of production cost to produce one more output, then you'd like to utilize that factory more than the another one, vice versa. So when you actually maximize a profit, which means you also minimize total production cost, what happens is additional cost, marginal cost from each factory will be equal when you minimize total cost. So what happens is marginal revenue, of course, should be equal to marginal cost, but we don't know how to find marginal cost here. And when you have a multi-factory, you are reducing costs along the line by equating the marginal cost from each factory, in this case actually two firms, right? So you're achieving these equality. So basically you have these one equality and another equality here, two equality, and for two unknown, QH, QT, two unknown variable, So you can actually solve system of linear equation. But then, let's continue. Here, marginal revenue, 105 minus 2Q. Q is the total output. Is in fact QH plus QT, right? And the marginal cost over here is 5 plus QH. And of course, you can write another one with respect to marginal cost of QT for the other company. But then, as we mentioned previously, QH and QT will be the same as two companies have same production function or same total cost. So here you can say QH equal to QT. That means this equation can be written as 105 minus 2QH equal 5 plus QH. Then this is only one unknown variable QH with one equation, so you can find a solution. So here 105 minus 4QH, 5 plus QH. So moving these to the left, moving this term to the right, then I have 100 equal 5 QH. So I can find QH will produce 20 units of output. And as we know, QT will be, company there will be also producing same output. So each company produces 20 output. So the total amount of output to this market will be the sum of these two, which is total 40 units of output. So again, as a summary, remember, when oligopolies voluntarily combine and act as if they are monopolies, so one time decision making for both companies, right? But then they have two different factories. So you can think it as monopolies with multiple factories. Then what happens is marginal revenue for these monopolies or cartel should equate to each marginal cost of each factory, as they are trying to minimize total cost by equating the additional cost for the last unit production from each company. So that's it. Thank you for watching.